Good evening and welcome to Sports Federation TV. I'm your host, Alton Davids. As you know, the Sports Council is alive and active within Western Province, and this is the voice of the Western Province or Cape Town Sports Council. The aim of the show is to promote all aspects of sport, not only coaches, athletes, but administrators, and we aim to get people active in sport across the Western Cape and more particularly in Cape Town. We talk to a range of different folk. Every week we choose 3 or 4 different codes of sport. Of the 73 codes of sport that's registered within South Africa, codes like boxing, badminton, weightlifting, car racing, athletics, softball, to name but a few. Today's show is quite interesting. We're chatting to a young man called Irfaan Abrahams who talks about his life as a runner, as an educator, and the sustainable changes he's made within his community. We also talk to the folk of Cape Town Softball. We talk about their initiative in partnership with the Department of Culture Affairs and Sport, and we also talk to some young ladies and a young man who will tell us about a great motor car event happening this weekend at Killarney. So don't go away. We got lots in store for you this evening. But before we get there, Irfaan, are you well?
I can't complain. All the better for being here, and thank you once again for having me on your show.
It's been a long time since you've been here. Welcome back into the hot seat.
Yeah, I say there must be something in the air where we come from, because people kind of say Alton doesn't get any older, and so don't you. So maybe it is the good air where we come from, Alton.
Either that or I shaved my head so you can't see the grey. I don't know what's your excuse.
Oh, absolutely nothing. Just you know, we remember that we can't do anything besides help from the Lord above, and when you realize that, anything else is possible.
Absolutely. Irfaan, it's been a while since you've last been here.
Yeah.
Take us through briefly who you are and what you currently do before we get to all the sporting aspects.
Well, I suppose once again, where we come from, we were flooded with every sporting code possible, and you had to just choose which direction you wanted to go. I'm an educator at Rocklands High School. I teach English and involved with the sporting activities at the school. I love education. I love teaching to bits. Teachers, I think, are people that should be looked up to, and I have fantastic colleagues and people, especially in the Mitchells Plain area. And I bet if you get to interview them, Alton, you'll hear stories for a lifetime, especially where sport is concerned. 5 years ago, we took on an initiative where we wanted to raise awareness to do with sport, as well as a project at our school at Rocklands High that we wanted to complete. That was the first initiative. But then when things started moving, we wanted to help as many schools and community projects within various communities how to raise much needed funds. But we wanted to do it through sport, because that was our life. That's what kept us off the street, if one wants to use that old cliche. That kept us focused in what we wanted to do. And we wanted to show that sport is that vehicle that can be a positive role model in any youngster's life. And as a, hoe sal hulle sê, ou mannetjie wat nou, we're not getting any younger, I fell in love with running, which wasn't the case before. You think of every sporting code besides running, because it's too long, Alton. Fell in love with running, and I felt that running was the vehicle that we were going to use to raise awareness with certain projects, and that's how the R1 Million Challenge was born. We took on a 5-year project. We wanted to run 1 major marathon per year, and that's London, New York, Chicago, Berlin and London. And for a Kotsoki that never even did any real marathons to think like that, many people thought, no, it's not going to happen. But like I said, if you believe in something and you have good people around you, then anything is possible. And here we are, 5 years later. We set ourselves the target of raising R1 million for underprivileged schools. We've raised just over 1.6 million rand for various schools, from as far as Belhar to Athlone, Mitchells Plain, too many schools to mention. And every year we had a beneficiary. From an old age home, Baitul Aman in Wynberg, we had helped cancer organizations, LOFOB in Grassy Park, and you know the wonderful work that LOFOB does, and them getting involved with sport, the blind cricketers that are there.
They do cycling as well.
Of course.
Tandem cycling,
yeah.
the Friends of the Blind.
And,
yeah.
and then also we've now dedicated to running at least one 10-kilometer race per month with a blind runner, and John van Skalkwyk is my partner. You know what, he's 60, Alton, but he runs like a 30-year-old. He's an amazing guy. And just to see that smile on his face That's what running does, and
that's what sport does. Never mind running.
Yeah.
Irfaan, let's pause there. Tell us what it's like to run with to be the pilot of a blind or a visually impaired athlete.
It's mind blowing. You know what? The first time we ran together, and sometimes there's just a synergy that one cannot speak about, and you cannot get to grips with it. It was like it was a partnership made in heaven. It wasn't easy for me, but I must tell you a quick story. Our first race we ran was a 5-kilometer race, and I think what stood out for me was John actually telling me, Irfaan, watch out, there's a car coming behind, we need to be on the left-hand side. And I'm like, John, I'm your eyes, I don't see anything. And you know what, in turning around, it was a car coming speeding along. So his senses have just gone a level higher than what mine is, and we work together. There's times he likes to run a bit more freely than when we are attached on the arm, but an amazing experience, and money can't buy that.
And that's what people misunderstand about visually impaired folk, is that their sense of touch, feel, smell, hearing is heightened by 10 to 15% to compensate for that as a sense of protection. Let's take a look and see the footage of Irfaan out in New York.
On Sunday, Irfaan Abrahams is carrying our flag for South Africa. Irfaan ran his first New York City Marathon in 2011 when he started a special fundraising project running one major marathon per year while raising money for underprivileged schools in his home country. In the 5th year of his project, he has raised more than 1.7 billion rand.
President of the popular sports club in Spain.
Irfaan, what's it like going to run an event overseas? I mean, most people just can picture running in Cape Town and know what it's like to run in South Africa, as an example. For you to go overseas, someone coming from the Cape Flats going over to run in New York, what was that like?
It's an amazing experience, and yeah, I must say, I carry every top runner of that never had the opportunity to go and run in these major marathons overseas. I can mention so many coming from the Cape Flats who, if they had the opportunity, I bet they'd have thrived. I carry all of them and all our local clubs that have, running as just sprung up, and it's out of control, especially in the Western Cape. And yeah, you think of Lion of Africa, you think of Top Form that's been there for years, Omidrai, ARD. These clubs don't come cheap. And look at Nantes in Bridgetown. So these are the people that support me in the sense of wishing me well when I go away. And I carry them on my shoulder. You go there and you have them there in spirit with you. And that helps a lot. I think the footage that you just saw was the opportunity, being given the opportunity to be the South African flag bearer. Ons kan niet in klop together, but we were extremely well received, and it gives you goosebumps, especially this year going, we wanted to finish our project where it started, and it started in New York 2011. It's 2015, the project has come to an end, and we wanted to end it there. And how fitting was it to be given the honor to be the South African flag bearer, and meeting the likes of Wilfred Kipsang, last year's winner, Spike Lee was the ambassador, Paula Radcliffe, and like I said, they wanted to know more about me than me being so excited to want to know about their life stories. So I think it keeps me humble, it keeps me grounded, that one cannot get ahead of yourself, because here I'm going to try and raise awareness and funds for underprivileged schools, and Islamic Relief, the NGO that works internationally, they've been there for 5 years, so we're trying to support them as well. Being given that opportunity, man, it's just humbling.
And to think that you started with a simple project of raising running shoes at traffic lights.
Yeah.
Remember that little project?
Oh, it's small things like that, and that just keeps you going. and to say that the sky's the limit. And here we want to speak to young people who have ideas and who think out of the box. Don't limit yourself. I never ran anything further than 5 kilometers, and I think you can be able to play squash at that level. You didn't need to run.
No, when you played squash, it was run, get to the tee,
and that's it.
And that's it.
When the coach had said, look, we're going to do some stamina building, that's the thing you dreaded, and here you fell in love with it. You've seen the spin-offs that it has, and with your permission, I mean, it's just not a running project now. We've paired with feeding people who work in the community with feeding schemes. Fihit Mataluma is a group in Mitchells Plain, and we feed so many people on a weekly basis. There's the project where we send one talented high school football player who matriculate, who's above average in academics, but we would like to play football on a higher level and also link it to academics. We send one away every single year to Lindsay Wilson University, and if you follow their progress, South Africa features highly in there. And there's reading programs, there's doing social work within communities. This is all because of the running project, and people have been amazing how they've come on board and assisted. And it's not just about money, because the money, the best part of it, we don't have a bank account, Elton, where people deposit money and we distribute. No, we get people to work with the underprivileged schools and the schools themselves. It's an empowering project. The more they put in, the more they get out of it. And I mean, like I said, we can just thank the Lord above as to how successful this has really become.
Irfaan, we're going to unpack some of those projects in a minute. Let's take an ad break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Federation TV. If you've just tuned in, we're chatting to Irfaan Abrahams, an educator from Rocklands High who's gone out and done an amazing 5-year journey where he ran 5 marathons on 5 different continents almost.
Almost,
eh? Yeah. And now you're back over and above all of that, and you're still doing good work. Tell us 1 or 2 of the highlights of the projects, let's say for this year. That's
if I can start right at the beginning and then it'll touch on this year. I think a school like Riebeek Street Primary, I just want to highlight them. I mean, there's a Bibia Primary, and people have an idea that they've got money, that it's not, things have changed. They serve the community from Athlone, and we talk about Vegiskral, the informal settlement, they all there. So they need funds, and the principal is an amazing guy, wants to make fantastic changes. Sport is one of the big go-to events where they try and get kids. They've raised almost 200,000 Rand, Elton, through this project to help them with work that they need to do at school, put in lights, help with their facility over there. Riebeek Street Primary, in the poorest of the poor areas in Belhar, everybody, all of us go to diligently. Every year we go and watch the Metropolitan Premier Cup. You drive past the school, you don't give it a look in because it's such a poor area. Yeah. But you drive into the school, you see a group of educators that want to make a difference, and that's the safety of the kids at school. They never raised more than 10,000 Rand ever at a fundraising project. They've taken the project on 2 years in a row. They have gone above every expectation.
Nice.
First year, 52,000 Rand. This year, they've raised close to 60,000 Rand using the running project to facilitate what they need. So that's one of the highlights. Other one I spoke to you about, working with LoFob, Heidi at LoFob, working with the blind, getting to see what their needs are. I would never have known had it not been for this project. The old age home, the cancer, we're still involved. Dragon boat racing, we're involved with Western Province Dragon Boating. They've been fantastic to us, and getting to see why young ladies who's had that's got breast cancer, how they use dragon boating to try and strengthen themselves in working and fighting the cancer. Amazing group of people, and they inspire me. And this year was what we called the 5 Challenges Project. We were going to do 5 extreme sporting codes and events in order to raise awareness, because it was the 5th year. It started with the August Cycle Tour, and I don't know if you were involved in it, and you shortened it for us this year. That gave us a blessing.
No hand in doing that.
So I rode in a tandem with my 11-year-old son, which was amazing because I don't get an opportunity to work with my own kids per se, and that's the sacrifice you make. So that was amazing. Islamic Relief were fantastic. They gave us kit and we had people involved there. Then from there I qualified to do my first ultra marathon, which was the Two Oceans ultra marathon, and got to complete that. That was an amazing day. And Central Athletic with Line of Africa, Teko and some other athletes, they then took up the challenge as well. They dedicated their Two Oceans race to raise at least 5,000 Rand to Islamic Relief, which was the beneficiary. And from there, Alton, can you believe it, decided to take on the Comrades Marathon.
Crazy, man.
in the same year, qualified. Don't ask me anything about the Comrades because it's just a blur in the sense that 88 kilometers, you're praying more than what you're running just to finish. And we got to finish. That was the main thing. And that is an experience on its own. From there, we did Boston, which is the most prestigious in the sense of qualifying. We got to do Boston, and then we finished it with the largest marathon in the world, which is New York. And in that, we were trying to help a young girl. Her father started an organization called Brave Little Hearts. She's got a congenital heart deficiency, Zakira Matthews, and with that we're highlighting other kids with the same condition, highlighting them. But ultimately, Islamic Relief I've become an ambassador for them, and we were trying to assist them because we work with the orphans, we work with the less fortunate, and the monies that we raise goes straight back into those projects. And we just want people to come out there, go to Lansdowne, get involved, or contact Brave Little Hearts, and your 1 Rand, that's the thing that counts. And Alton, the sky's the limit, and I just say, just shukran. It's humbling. And I'm not going to cry on your show because you'd love me to do that, but I'm going to be strong over here and not cry at all.
Okay, let's take a turn.
Okay.
How many medals do you have? I mean, you've been involved in so many events, and over this past 5 years, how many medals do you think you've collected? You brought a sample.
I brought the major ones, and I think this is the good one, the big one. This is 2015. And the medal has gone even bigger. I'd like to believe it's gold.
It's gold because you started and you finished.
Of course. And then we've got Boston. And you know why I say that so many of our previously disadvantaged athletes would die for this is that at my age, to qualify for Boston on your own, you need to run a sub 3 hour 20 marathon to run 45 and over. And I think I gave my age away on air. But this is fantastic. London was superb. You know, teaching and living in London, going back there and running the London Marathon, it was amazing. We got to work with some of the students that came to Mitchell's Plain and work with Keith Meyer with his MITS program. They hosted us in Holland to run the Amsterdam Marathon. That's a fantastic story, and they're still contributing to the kids in Mitchell's Plain. And then we've got Chicago, amazing, and then London. Every marathon is special. I think you as a runner would also know, and people who are hoping and scared of doing a marathon. I was no runner of any note, but just to take on that challenge and knowing that you're challenging your body, but for a good cause, that's what makes it so much special. And I think if I can do it, anybody can do it, Alton. We've got fantastic 59-year-old. I just met a lady, and she decided that before she turned 60, she wants to do a marathon. Fozia Jacobs, she just ran the Winelands and she did it with her daughter. Amazing story.
Yeah, definitely. In closing, where to from here for you?
I think you'll be the first to know if we could do a project of this nature and have so many people benefit from it. Then I think that other people who have done something similar, we'd like to do and follow in these footsteps because we can see that it has so many benefits. It could be Kilimanjaro, it could be Base Camp Everest, it could be Alton and Fani doing a cycle journey from Cape Town to Cairo. You never know.
Who knows? Sky's the limit, as you say.
So just from me, thank you very much to you and everybody out there that supported the project. We've had our ups and our downs, but we'd like to talk about the ups more than the downs. And I'd just like to say thank you once again for the opportunity. And you never know, but I'd like to leave with the little saying that we go, and that's run this campaign, is that nothing can be done without your spiritual intervention, be it Allah, be it God, be it the Lord. It's the same for everybody, but I'm just an ordinary teacher trying to do something extraordinary.
And you've done an amazing work, not just with yourself, but the impact that you've had on hundreds, maybe even thousands of people, not just in the community where you come from, but in the community within South Africa and the community across the world for all those medals. Thank you, Irfaan.
Thank you. I told you I'm not going to cry out.
We'll take an ad break, and when we come back, we'll chat softball. See you now.